It's beer o'clock on Real Ale Craft Beer. If you've been to the Tesco beer aisle and you've been looking at the 4 bottles for £7.50 range and you're thinking, how can I extract the best value for my money? Well, this is a pretty good shout. Some of you might think that I want something a bit hoppier, I want something a bit lighter, I may want some stout. There's other things you can choose, but if you want bang for your buck, strong ale from a couple of breweries around the UK and a nice hoppy IPA, then you can pick them up from Tesco for £7.50. I'm not recommending you drink these 4 beers in one sitting, only because they're all like 6.5%, 6.6% ABV, and it might get you into a little bit of trouble. But if you do, if you can, if you think you can, why not? Go for it. So the beers we have: Old Crafty Hen, 6.5% ABV, 500 milliliter bottle, clear glass bottle, from Greene Brewery, Morland, Greene King. And this is the special signature blend of 5X, which they brew. And Greene King actually gave me a bottle of this when I visited their brewery, a bottle of 5X. It was stunning. So they blend, the 5X is like a 12% ABV beer. And they brew it at that 12% ABV, and then they blend it back to produce this beer, and it's oak aged. Next beer is from the same brewery, the Greene King Abbot Reserve, 6.5% ABV. Now I imagine when Morland were a separate company, and they had this beer over here, Old Crafty Hen, Old Speckled Hen, I can imagine Greene King, just down the road, we're thinking, we need to compete with these, we need to compete with this brewery. Ironic now that they bought Morland and they don't have to compete anymore because it's the same brewery. But they do taste different. These two beers, the Abbot Reserve, taste slightly different to the Old Crafty Hen. Next up is a beer from Carlsberg Marston's Brewing Company. It's King Goblin Imperial Ruby Beer, 6.6% ABV, 500 milliliter bottle. I haven't had this for years. I loved it years ago. It was a brilliant beer. There's the bottle cap. And then last but not least, some Austell's Proper Job IPA. 5.5% ABV, 500 milliliter dark brown bottle. Let's get them all out. Of course, this is Carlsberg Marston's opportunity here to produce a strong beer to compete with Old Crafty Hen and Abbot Ale Reserve. There's a look at it. One finger, very small one finger whitehead, good levels of carbonation, a dark ruby amber beer. Abbot. I've decided to use traditional pint pots for these reviews. I probably could have used an IPA glass for the Proper Job, but hey ho, I thought I'd stick them all in the same sort of glassware, especially these 3 beers that are going to look the same. Now this looks better. Have a look at this compared. This is the Abbot Ale. Compare the Abbot Ale to the Hobgoblin. Nicely carbonated, bit brighter, nice head retention. The Goblin looks a bit flat. Old Crafty hen. Really interesting. Oh, really interesting. It's summer and it's hay fever season. Whoa, that I'll try not to sneeze then. Interesting that the old Crafty hen looks a bit flat, doesn't it? A bit like the Hobgoblin, King Goblin. Shall we compare them? Bloody hay fever. Yeah, they look a bit flat, don't they? The pair of them. The King Goblin being slightly darker. It's an Austell proper job. I love this beer, I do. I do. It's just, it's always in Tesco. It's always reliable. Some might describe it, it's bottle conditioned as well. Sometimes you get a load of sediment in a bottle. Look at that. Look at that. This 4 for £7.50 deal. If I was just to choose the one beer, I mean, let's be fair. Let's drink the rest of them. But if I had to choose one, it would probably be this lighter coloured, good carbonation, one finger whitehead, lots of sediment. Right. Old Crafty hen aroma. Toffee, burnt toffee. Sweet burnt toffee. Not much in there. There's a little bit of a fruity hop coming through. Let's dive in. Cheers, everybody. It's rich, it's warming, it's toasty. Oh. It's biscuity and it's nutty. There's some raisin in there. I quite like that. Let's try the Abbot, because technically both 6.5% ABV, both coming from the same brewery, technically it should be relatively the same. I'm just wondering if there's a difference. Definitely more carbonated. There's actually one camera greatest beer of Britain or something a couple of years ago. There was so much backlash, there was so much controversy, people throwing their arms in the air. I was at the Great British Beer Festival and I think that was the last one actually. I don't think they've had another one since. A lot more carbonation. It's doing less of the toffee and the biscuit and the licorice. It just seems really well brewed. It seems like you're drinking a 6.5% ABV beer that seems a little bit more light-footed. It seems a little bit more like those dangerous Belgian beers that you sit in a Belgian cafe and they're 9% and you're drinking them away, and then you realise, oh, that was 9%. And often when you get up to pay or use the toilet, everything starts spinning around. This has a sense of that. I mean, I reckon I could session that, or try to. I reckon I could sit in a beer garden and sip away at a few of these and then realise, oof, wow, it's 6.5% ABV. It's definitely a completely different beer to the old speckled old Crafty hen. It's just a good strong ale. I like that, I do. Carlsberg Marston's, a company that I will admit I struggle with. Years ago there was a beer reviewer who, his name was Terry Kay, sadly passed away now. Me and Terry used to speak an awful lot. I've met him a couple of times at the Great British Beer Festival. We had a couple of beers together. But he had a massive kind of bone to pick with like Wells and Youngs at the time. Wells and Youngs Brewery were like, he just didn't like anything that they produced. And I'm just wondering if like I'm becoming the same with Carlsberg Marston's. Certainly the Marston's bit. I'm sure that Carlsberg in Denmark is producing great stuff, but the Marston's bit, they just dominate. The company now dominates a lot of beer, a lot of brewing and beer in the UK, and I just don't think the quality's there. I haven't sipped this yet. I haven't drank it. I promise it won't be it will always be unbiased. But I just know in the background it's Carlsberg Marston's, and it smells like cola. It smells like cherry Coke. Cheers. Terrible compared to the other two. Now, this is a beer. This is a beer that's been brewed and designed. They've even put it at 6.6% ABV to be 0.1% higher than these two beers over here, the Old Crafty Hen and the Abbot Reserved. And they've done that by purpose. They've done that to go home. Well, they probably brewed it at 6.5, and then because of that, you're allowed a margin of error when you're brewing beer of 0.25%. So they probably brew this at 6.5% ABV, and they probably just gone, 6.6, we'll just call it that and have done with it. Just to beat the other two. But it's not a patch. It's not a patch on the Greene King beers, this. It's... To be fair, there's a little bit of licorice, there's a little bit of toffee, but other than that, it tastes like cherry cola. Like cherry cola in a glass. I mean, I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is with these companies. I actually opened they asked me to open a pub in Barry called the Cherry Orchard when it was first refurbished about 10 years ago. I went up with the channel, cut the ribbon, opened the door type of thing. Local press were there and went in, and it was beautiful. It was a lovely pub back then, and the pedigree was good back then. But they've recently refurbished this pub again. They've spent a lot of money on it. But I think my sister bought a glass. She went up there and she bought a glass of wine. It was like £7. £7 for a glass of wine. I'm thinking, no. I haven't been. Not because their wine is £7, but I just don't. Since Carlsberg and Marston's have become this one thing, when you realise the amount of breweries under their wing, Wells and Young's, Bombardier, remember all the old Bombardier beers? They've cancelled them. Shouldn't use that. They've stopped producing Bombardier, some of the great old beers. Just they've gone by the wayside. Some of the Thwaites beers. So what happened? This company, Marston's, were buying up breweries, and they were getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And I think Carlsberg just went, actually, do you know what? We just buy Marston's, and then we kind of literally control the whole of the UK brewing scene. And that's exactly what they did. Look at it. Look at what they're producing now. It's like an imperial strength cherry cola with a touch of licorice. Oh. And to the IPA, to the beer from St Austell Brewery, that I think might, although I think it's going to, Abbot Ale, I know, don't laugh. I mean, Abbot Ale is very good for a traditional ale. Abbot Ale is really good. Don't just discount it because it's made by Greene King. It's a good beer, is Abbot Reserve. Aroma on the proper job. It's just different. It's a new world. It's a different world. It's citrusy. It's grapefruity. Apparently, it's the first ever, before Brut IPA became Brut IPA. This was the first kind of like Brut IPA, and it was done before Brut IPA even existed. Yeah, even the wind agrees with me. Citrusy, grapefruity, orange peel. It smells good, that. Really good. Let's dive in. Cheers, everybody. Wow. Different. Just different. It carries on being good. In a world where your brew dogs, and in some respects your northern monks, have got to where they wanted to be, and then they've like gone, we don't care about quality anymore, we don't care at all. St Austell, they got their proper job in the supermarket, and they kept it there. And they've not just kept it there for the sake of it. They've not just gone, right, we've done it now, we've got it, we'll reduce the hops and nobody will know. That's amazing. I remember drinking proper job, I don't know, 10, 15 years ago, when St Austell weren't putting their beer into the supermarket, and you could, really for me, you could buy it locally in Cornwall, or you could buy it online from their brew shop. And I remember having this beer and thinking, wow, this is really good. This is really, really good. And I've just had that very same experience. Whether I just have a really, really good bottle, whether it's just an amazing bottle of proper job. But this is how I remember IPA tasting. It's a Westie. It's a West Coast IPA in Tesco that's amazingly part of a 4 for £7.50 deal. 153, 6. So 2, 4, 6, 8. It's a little. It's about £1.87. £1.87 a bottle is that kind of sort of pricing for that 4 bottles for £7.50. Well, that's it's about close. That's close, isn't it? £1.87. It's a damn good beer for that. It really is. In fact, I'll come out straight. I would much prefer to buy this over Brewdog's Punk IPA. That is quite a glorious IPA for the money. Old school. It's like a Sierra Nevada Pale Ale. Or yeah, well done, St. Austell. So a quick rating for the beers then. I have become slightly tipsy drinking these, I will be honest with you. It's not my first beer review of the day. Who cares? Sipping these 4 beers, I feel I've done it on a Friday afternoon as well. It's currently 5 o'clock in the afternoon. And I'm like, woohoo! You know, Friday, yeah, wait till Saturday morning. I'll be like, why did I do that? Quick ratings then, old Crafty hen. Toffee, biscuits, toffee, bit of licorice, bit of sweetness. Bit of syrup. This is the thing, when you drink like a proper job and you're like, I was kind of bigging this beer up just now, but now it's like, oh, there's some syrup in there. Syrup gives me a headache. Brewer's syrup gives me a headache. It's glucose syrup. Gives me a big headache. 6 out of 10. Probably next worst, or should have drank this first. King Goblin. Oh, cherry Coke in a glass. 4 out of 10. Abbot Reserve. I really liked this earlier, didn't I? Oh, I really, really liked it. And I still do. Yeah. I still do. It's almost as if Greene King have put every single egg in the basket of, yes, we can still produce a great beer. Try Abbot Ale Reserve. It's almost as if, like, St. Austell's Proper Job is their flagship beer. If you want to impress somebody at the brewery, you get them either a big job or a proper job. I got a funny feeling that, let's say the investors, remember Courage Directors? That's another brand owned by Carlsberg Marston's. You don't see that anymore either, do you? Courage Directors. I used to like that. Anyway, I'm not going to start ranting about Marston's again. No, I won't do that to myself. Burton Water. Had to say it. Burton Water. Yeah, that's a great idea. Burton Water. Fatty water. It's just good. So this quick story with Courage Directors is that the beer was brewed only for the directors of Courage. Only for those. It was the premium, best beer that Courage could produce. The #1 brewer of the day, Courage were, 100 years ago. And they brewed a beer for the directors, which they then brought back for the people. And then it just got diluted and diluted and diluted under Wells and Youngs, and it just become a nothing beer in the end. I think if they were to bring their investors around to the brewery, Greene King, if they wanted to really put on a show, really show off what they can do, then I think this is it. Essentially, this is it in a glass. Abbot Ale Reserve. It's nice. I like it. It's a very different beer to Proper Job. It's almost like unfair to rate these two beers together because they're completely different. The Abbot being a good malt forward beer. I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. Unbelievably so. I'm going to give Abbot Ale Reserve a 9 out of 10. I just like it. I just think cold winter's evening, looking out there at the snow when it snows in the winter. Yeah, next to the fire. Lovely beer. Proper Job from St. Austell. Oh, those hops. Those hops are fantastic. Hoppy, citrusy, grapefruity. Bit of orange peel, bit of grapefruit. Very different beer, but I'm also going to give that a 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10 from Real Ale Craft Beer. These are, actually, I probably wouldn't buy the old Crafty Hen again or the Hobgoblin Ruby beer. So I'd probably buy 2 bottles of Proper Job and 2 bottles of Abbot Ale Reserve. That's my best 4 for £7.50 deal as of 2025 at Tesco. Hope you liked the video. Please put your comments in the comments box. Subscribe to our daily beer and food reviews. Give us a big fat thumbs up. Boom. Cheers.